be something I would disclose in advance or let them?
Do you think the problem has been fixed? Has the problem been remedied?
Yeah, it has.
Okay. In that case, I don't know if I would disclose it now.
Okay.
I mean, certainly there is a system in the house that can be inspected. You said there's a water filtration
Yes.
system. So I think what's fair is that can be inspected, and if there's any cost associated with that, I don't know if you have to pay a service, whatever it is. But I think probably since the problem has been remedied, that I don't know that there's a current disclosure. And in fairness to real estate agents, during the time that some of this was an issue, it's a little bit slow to seep out. So in other words, the neighbors might have known, the water company is informed, but it takes a little while for it to get into the public in general. So it's interesting on things like that. There was a subdivision that I used to deal with over north of the Neuse River that they had some major water problems, and it reached a point eventually that we had to start disclosing it. Because even though there was no reason for us to believe it was unhealthy, it would destroy your dishwashers, your dishes, and stuff like that. So ultimately, we had to start disclosing, and property values started dropping, and the city of Raleigh had to step in to put in a new water system. Clearly material at some point. Yeah. Do you have anything done over here?
I was just going to give an example. I live not too far from that place that you were selling for in Fuquay, and 540 is supposed to extend down there. And when we bought our current house in 2016, they made us sign something because it's passed by the town of Fuquay. Our current entrance to our community is supposed to be slated for eventually Eastern Parkway, which they compared to Cary Parkway. And then we abut right next to us is the new Fuquay High School. Eventually across is going to be Fuquay Middle School. So our agent actually did a really good job to say, you have to sign this thing. This will eventually maybe be a pretty busy road. It's 2042 or whatever. It might not happen, it might. But because the high school is going right here and the middle school is going right here, and it's zoned commercially, you're not going to have like Fuquay Strip Club, ABC store. It's schools and it's a major road and it's pretty close to 540. You can kind of look into what will eventually maybe be here. So they actually did a really good job, even though it will eventually be built up. Just logically, what's going to be around there didn't really seem bad.
And that's what I mean by the disclosures. A lot of times it's not as bad as what you think it is. The fact is, if I tell a buyer about this particular situation, some people may not want to deal with it, okay? But others are going to say, you know what, I want to be around new growth, new development, new schools. Good gosh, the value of properties around here by being near a good school in Wake County is dramatic. Okay, so I like the way they do that, and oftentimes when we had issues, I thought you would get mad at me for not disclosing 30 years ago that 540 was going to come through. I didn't know. I honestly didn't know. No, but that was a good job. Disclose what you know. Disclose what you know. Let the buyer get you.
So my brother lives in 12 Oaks, and people in 12 Oaks, they love their neighborhood. It's the best neighborhood ever. But it's wedged between the nuclear power plant and then the Holly Springs dump.
Yes.
So I expect to be fun.
Yeah, I actually, the commission called me a few weeks ago. They were going to ask me a question because I was an agent in Holly Springs. They were going to ask me about it. There was a house that was sold, and it's in a neighborhood called Forest Springs. Does anybody live in Forest Springs? Forest Springs is not far from 12 Oaks, and it's really, really close to the dump. And the agent that had sold the property had not disclosed proximity to the dump. And so the commission was calling for my opinion about whether this was material or not. I ended up having to recuse myself from it because at the time, the agent was actually someone who had worked for me in the past. So I had a personal relationship with the agent. And so I couldn't talk to him about this. But as the commission is telling me the story, I'm like, shoot, I personally would have disclosed it. I personally would have disclosed it. Does that mean it's required to be disclosed? No. But I tend to be more on the black and white than the gray. But this agent actually lived in the neighborhood. He said, you know, I never thought about it. It didn't bother me. But apparently there was a time last summer that the air was kind of oppressive, and so the funk from the landfill was over there. And it just so happens, buyer that filed the complaint to the commission was buying a house during that time period. They go under contract, don't notice at all. The day they go through their walkthrough, they're like, it stinks here, okay, and it's not going anywhere. I don't know how that case finally came out. We could probably end up getting a ruling on that soon.
How close is that?
Oh, it was about 3 wood. Okay. How far do you hit 3 wood? I hit mine about 280 yards.
they don't know that there is a dump there.
Yeah.
They don't know these things.
Yeah.
You know, I'm also new in the area, there's things I would never know, like path, the patterns, all that. I
Yeah.
think it's very important that it's disclosed.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it's a great customer
Not
service.
everybody grows up in
as
North
well.
Carolina.
But think about this. I don't know where any of you live, but I can predict that all of you probably live within 5 miles of a landfill or a sewage treatment plant. Okay? I mean, trash and waste have to be treated somewhere. Matter of fact, some of you have a sewage treatment plant in your backyard, a septic tank. If any of you have a septic tank. So that's where it goes from, black and white to gray. At what point, like I said, when I was talking to the commission, in my mind, I was thinking to myself, oh, gosh, I would have disclosed. I would have disclosed. These houses, they're in a great location. I think people would have purchased there anyway, but they would have done to do their research to be aware of it. It could end up in a lawsuit in this particular case. You could have avoided the lawsuit by disclosing. Now, on the other hand, think about why this is a dilemma. Think about why it's a dilemma. Not everybody's going to be working for a buyer, right? Some people will be working for the sellers. Do you see why the seller's agent might fret about this? Oh my gosh, if I don't have to disclose it, and I do, is it going to hurt my seller? So that's why it's more difficult than what it sounds. We all go into this wanting to do the right thing, but sometimes when you're in that gray area, it's, the other side may see it different than you do. You have to hand that.
So when I bought my home 3 years ago, it was disclosed on the seller's property disclosure
Okay.
that behind my house, which is a very beautiful private area, is a 100-year floodplain. And, I researched it, and my agent just sort of put it on me to research it. And I did, and there was no flood insurance needed. And it didn't seem like a problem to me.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it being told, but it has to be disclosed, doesn't it? I mean, everything on that
But
property.
technically, that did not have to be disclosed, because you said it was not on your property, right?
No,
Yeah.
it's,
So
yeah.
in that case, they went above and beyond.
Yeah.
And I think, again, that was good customer service, and it didn't hurt the seller in this case, because it's not on the property. However, you know what I like to do? How close is that 100-year floodplain to your house?
It's like my yard is fenced in and it's beyond. It's like right there, it's this huge area with
Yeah.
bamboo and trees.
Yeah, I like to buy flood insurance anyway,
Mhm.
because of course, the floodplain's changing as much as we're developing around here. It could come up, but that's, you're an adult, they gave you the information, and in that case, I think it benefited both the seller and the buyer.
And the yard is graded very well, and
Yeah.
I walked around like when it would rain and made sure, before that, after we were in contract, but I just made sure that the
Yeah.
yard was dry because I have dogs and I didn't want a muddy yard.
And it's an interesting story from the standpoint, it allowed you to do the research that made you feel comfortable with this particular property.
Yes.
You may or may not choose to buy flood insurance, but at least you can do it with, from an educated perspective. Okay, great. Facts directly related to the property. We did spend some time talking about that. Keep those things going in your mind, but it was a great conversation because you understand how this can get a little bit trickier than what it sounds. If it's a material fact, you have to disclose it. So when you're out in the field, don't ask yourself, do you think I should disclose this? Ask yourself, is it material? Because if the answer is yes, it's material, then what's the answer? Yes, you have to disclose it. When we come back, I will hit the last two. We won't spend quite as much time talking about each of those, but I have that it's a little after 10:50. Let's go ahead and take a break.